Welcome into a Monday edition of the Jordy Culotta Show, driven and powered by Go Chevrolet, online at GEAUXChevrolet.com. Shout out to the boys over there, Lee Carney, Nick Richard, and the entire crew at Go Chevrolet. Remember, a brand new shop is out there in LaPlace, still recovering from Hurricane Ida as she slammed into southern Louisiana, and LaPlace was one of the area's hardest hit. Go Chevrolet getting back on their feet down there. They have a used car lot that's located on Florida Boulevard in Sherwood Forest. Go Express Auto Sales. They bring you our show every single day here on the Jordy Culotta Show. We are going to be a little quick here this first hour. I'll be bouncing out in the second hour as I got a meeting up at Little Jay's school this morning. But we will talk to Ross Dellenger of Sports Illustrated at 7:30 this morning and jump into some of the weekend that was in college football. LSU takes care of McNeese. They move on. They'll host Central Michigan. We'll talk a little bit about that game. If you missed our Sunday night episode, you can always go back and tap into that last night on YouTube, Facebook, JordyCulottaShow.com. All of our sound always brought back to you by RMB Builders, our podcast. So if you missed last night's show, we have our interview with B.J. Ojulari, defensive end from LSU, as we get his recap of Saturday night from McNeese. Also get an update on his status as he was banged up a little bit on Saturday night. He should be good to go this week versus Central Michigan.
If I was an NFL scout, I'd be drooling.
Yes.
He's so well-spoken and a beast.
He's got just great perspective, it seems like. Like, he's never too high, too low, but he answers very thoughtful with his answers. It is very impressive. He's a sophomore.
Yes, he is very impressive. And had another sack on Saturday night as well for Ojulari. So 2 sacks through 2 games. Mason Smith was dominating in the backfield. We'll talk about Smith coming up here on the Jordy Culotta Show. We will get to a lot of what's happening in the NFL. The Saints dominate the Green Bay Packers from start to finish. Jameis Winston with 5 touchdown passes yesterday was very fun to watch. Sean Payton and the Hoodats as they take care of Green Bay. Some of a firsts for Aaron Rodgers, or first in a long time. Yesterday versus the Saints, as they took last year's MVP and made him look pedestrian in the Sunday afternoon tilt versus Jacksonville. Some other things that stood out in the NFL weekend we'll get to coming up here in this first hour. Remember, as we said, all of our show is brought to you by Go Chevrolet Daily. Our coffee is provided by Majestic Coffee, DeliciousSips.com. Our water is True Blue Water. TRUBluewater.com to hop on the delivery route today if you want to find them online. Get a part of it. Our phone guest, Ross Dellenger, is compliments of Metropolitan Health Group. Real Doctors, Real Solutions. Our guy Charlie Harvey and Jason Ramazan over there at Metropolitan Health Group. And then, of course, Papa Earl's, the official spice of the Jordy Culotta Show. Stop and grab Papa Earl's anywhere locally that you shop. Calandro's, Rouse's, High Neighbor. 30% less sodium than the competition. So good to be back with you here on this Monday morning. Noah did a great job over on Saturday as he was out at Tiger Stadium covering LSU McNeese. First game day gig for you, Jack, as a bartender. How was it over the weekend? How was Tigerland?
Broke a couple labor laws, but here it was by like
typical Saturday.
1:30. Like it was 1:30. I'm like, I'm done. Like I can't hear anything. I just hear ringing. Like it felt like I just fought in Korea. I was like, I'm done. I'm going outside.
What was your hours on Saturday?
I got there at 11 and I left the bar at 4:30 in the morning. Only made $302.
Oh, wow. So underpaid.
Underpaid and overworked. What
Underpaid and overworked.
The American dream, right?
That's got to be a swing and a miss for the opening weekend. I would have think that would have been a good pull.
Oh, the look on my face when I was counting tips. Like, I was just getting like 20 straight no tips. I was like, I hate my life.
Was it because nobody was out or nobody was tipping?
So you got to work your way up because people have been drinking since 8 a.m. But my theory is kids are way too drunk to realize, like, oh, I have to tip. Like when they used their credit card, and it was just like, thanks.
The bar etiquette was not there.
Thanks, guys.
Or maybe there's a couple of fake credit cards floating around. They couldn't tip.
Those fake credit cards.
What was the crowd like on Saturday?
I mean, the student section was packed.
I heard the student section like,
and then at the beginning of the game, the crowd was actually pretty full. I mean, obviously it started to dwindle down. There wasn't much fun game to watch, but
the student section,
tailgating scene.
Tailgating was bumping.
It was electric.
The student section was so packed. They were so overwhelmed. Like, they were checking COVID, the tickets, and like, I don't know what to do. There's too many people. Just go in there. Just find a spot.
Yeah, me and Laura were talking about it yesterday. That was the most, like, non-big-time game most students we've seen in the student section.
Well, I mean, they're the ones that have missed out the most on this thing, man. I mean, what's the college experience without a football game?
Well, you look at, like, we talk about, like, super seniors for football teams. We had, like, super freshmen for, like, the fraternities, sororities, student section, because, like, I didn't get to have my freshman year. So they were, I've never seen it gate to wall packed.
Rocking.
There was not, like, a place to sit if you were in the student section. If they throw Mike the Tiger up there, he's going over the back.
Yeah.
He's not making
he's
it
crowd surfing out of there.
There's no sitting me back. It's like, no, you're going over.
Right. So we'll talk to Dellenger about his thoughts of the college football weekend. We'll also get his thoughts from a national perspective on what he thinks of LSU heading into this Central Michigan matchup. And, you know, we talked a lot about LSU in our post-game show with Rohan on Saturday night. Then we talked a little bit about it more yesterday with our interview with BJ Ojulari last night, and talked a little bit about what LSU did well and some of the things they struggled on. I think if you're watching, it is now really kind of into dire category when you look at this offensive line. You know, I think that when you see this offensive line play and you see them, whether it's against competition like UCLA, who's number 13 in the top 25 this weekend,
Pac-12 looks good.
Or is it even against a team like McNeese, who is an FCS level school that you should really dominate from start to finish. You still see the glaring holes on that offensive line that raises major cause for concern when heading down this schedule. And you look at this schedule, some of the things that we talked about last night, this is a bad year to struggle in the SEC West. This is not the season to be trying to figure it out in your division of the conference. And I know that, routinely the SEC West seems like, the AFC East of college football. Mm-hmm. But it is this season more glaring because of LSU's struggles early on when you look around and see the way that Texas was absolutely punished by Arkansas over the weekend. Arkansas with over 330 yards on the ground versus Texas. That offensive line and Sam Pittman has an identity when you look at Arkansas. They know who they are. When speaking about the Hogs after week 2, you look at even a school like Ole Miss and the way that they were able to put up points again this weekend, and how much trouble and concern that's going to be for this LSU squad as they sit right now, right? I mean, they can improve and they can make some changes and they can find some and figure some things out.
Auburn hasn't looked bad at all.
Auburn has not looked bad at all. TJ Finley looked good on Saturday. The Missouri-Kentucky game, I know these are SEC Eastern Division opponents, but Kentucky, who you play here in the middle of October, looks like a horrible matchup for LSU with the way that they road grade up front on that offensive line. Now, LSU's defensive line has had some highs, but all in all, when you look at Kentucky, the matchup, I don't think that is advantage LSU when you see that thing on paper. So this is a tough looks like LSU is beginning to enter a tough stretch. Very surprised to see that the spread this weekend with LSU versus Central Michigan is plus 20. I mean, I've seen it hovering. I've seen it hovering anywhere from 20.5 to 23 points. Somebody told me it opened at 24.
Who's making these
This
lines?
is just a name game, right? Like they're just going strict. Vegas can't wait to just go. Oh, LSU Central Michigan, like we were all doing before the year.
Right.
Like when we went down the schedule, we were like, all right, win. We can't wait to Mississippi State revenge game win. And like, all right, we'll see what happens by like game 5. We'll know where LSU is. We thought we were going to go to that undefeated into SEC play, and now it's like struggle against McNeese. That wasn't a glorifying win at all. Like it was more almost bad than good. It seemed.
They look like you're playing an FCS team,
right? And then you go into Central Michigan, where this looks like a toss-up to me.
They run the ball well.
Absolutely. Well, the thing about Central Michigan that I think people have to account for is they are coming down here with the mentality that they're going to win the game. Yeah. Jim McElwain is preparing his team and knowing that he sees an LSU program that is on the ropes, and this is a place where he is very familiar. I mean, he nearly played spoiler to Ed Ogeron in 2016. He did play spoiler to the Sugar Bowl. He did play spoiler to some of the things that team could have accomplished in 2016 when he brought Florida over here for the makeup game after they were affected by the hurricane in 2016. That had that game moved from Gainesville to Baton Rouge, and that's when Oliva agreed to the back-to-back years in the swamp. I mean, just
the weird tiger skeleton.
Yes,
it was just all so bizarre.
But McElwain and Central Michigan, when I mean, I know that we're looking ahead to SEC play. You cannot discount this weekend. You can't just pass over this weekend and say they're going to dominate and win the game. I hope that they can get some things figured out for their sake this weekend, because it would really be a nice confidence boost heading into conference play. But I don't see anything around LSU that gives me any cause to say, hey, man, it looks like they're starting to figure some things out. You know, because as bad as the offensive line played on Saturday, you know, I still think it was more concerning not to have Deculus, Wire, and Hines in there, because those guys need the reps more than anybody.
Yeah.
They need the ability to gain the chemistry, play next to each other, and develop, you know, how they're going to play as a unit. And I just think that they're set back heading into this this coastal, this Central Michigan game on Saturday. So it's going to be interesting to see how this week is played by LSU. Obviously, Ed Ogeron will meet with the press today at noon. So it'll be interesting to see what he has to say. We will talk to Ross Dellenger about some of the college football weekend coming up here shortly. Remember, we are brought to you by GoFlow IV and Hydration Spa. You can find them on Jefferson Highway. Easy to get in touch with them online at GoFlowIV.com. You can learn about the memberships there. They've got packages available for you. But stop in and see GoFlow IV Health and Wellness, Baton Rouge's premier medical spa specializing in IV hydration treatments with vitamin infusion. They can help you with anti-aging, athletic performance, hangover cures, among other things. Stop in and see them this morning at GoFlowIV.com. GoFlowIV.com. As I could have used them on a Sunday morning, bro.
Unbelievable.
I mean, couple of glasses of wine, and next thing you know, bro, your boy's
This man looked like he was on a bachelor party on Saturday. He was chewing a cigar. He was ripping that thing with no regard for human life, drinking wine. It looked like we won the national championship.
What? Feel like the earth was spinning?
And yeah, then I guess Sunday got you. It wasn't even Saturday night.
Yeah, it's the day after, man.
Sugar.
Yeah, it was. I could,
Ugh.
I'm over it, bro.
You done with it?
I'm done with it.
No cigars? Well, you have to drink.
No
have
cigars.
To drink wine.
I'm thinking about going tea in the glass.
Twisted?
Like there's people chugging Hennessy and it's actually just twisted. It's just tea.
Yeah, right.
That's gonna be you.
A little half and half.
Oh God.
You can't fake wine. Great Welch's.
Yeah, grape juice.
Go to church.
But I walked into breakfast yesterday morning, caught a whiff of something, bro, and turned about. I couldn't get out of there fast enough. I left my entire crew at breakfast.
Jack, this man did not go throw up in the parking lot, didn't go throw up in the bathroom. He got into his car, he drove home. He just panicked. He went total panic move and threw up on, he had to pull over on the road.
Yeah.
He left everybody there.
Threw up at a stoplight.
I'm going home.
Threw up at a stoplight, rolled into an intersection, almost got T-boned.
You're caged animal mode.
I mean,
you didn't know what to do.
I need home.
Just eyes watering.
Tag.
I mean, like, it was done,
Laws
bro.
don't apply right now.
What did you do after? Did you drive back? What
No.
was it?
How was that text?
No.
How did you send that
well,
text?
it was Kelly, Jay, and I went to breakfast, and then my mom came and met us. She was coming. Jordan called my mom on the way to breakfast to come meet us. And by the time she had shown up, I was kind of making my way out the door, so I just kind of put it in her hands to get him home. You know what I
your
mean?
mom.
Like, I need you to help me out here.
Take this.
I need a solid.
Did you drive? Do you have your car?
But I did. It did give me a chance to lay around and watch Red Zone all day, which I forgot how unbelievable of an experience that is.
You almost have to take speed to keep up with it. Like, I don't know how Chris Hansen does it. No, that's not his name. Whatever his name is.
That's the job.
Have a seat right over here.
Andrew Siciliano.
That's Siciliano. It's
No,
something
I got.
else.
I'm talking about Scott Hansen.
Scott Hansen.
Scott Hansen
He is wired wall to wall.
He's like a PSA for cocaine.
Yeah,
I mean, like, he is just like, I mean, when his opening monologue it feels like you want to run through the TV and play for the guy.
Feels like you want to do his job.
Welcome into this Sunday morning. We are at 8 locations. You look at Buffalo right now. Pre-kick. I mean, people are
We're in the
like,
octobox.
I mean, I'm taping up my wrist, bro. Yes. Yes. And how he explains the games. I mean, Kelly was like, who is this guy?
It's like he's doing he's a day trader in the stock market. He's like, and here we are. It's like
we go down to Jacksonville and you see New Orleans playing at third down. 2 plays before this, Alvin Kamara was knocked out of bounds with a play. I mean, it's just like, good Lord, I'm all in. I'm here.
But it is effectively.
I mean, it really is. If you watch the whole thing, which I nearly logged all 8 hours yesterday.
I needed a catheter
on the red zone. He does not move. His intensity level stays, and he also stays like tight.
Taut.
Yeah, like I mean, like his hair's not messed up. His shirt, like he doesn't even undo his tie. I mean, by the halftime of the first game, I'd be jacking off, sleeves up. Like, did somebody give me a couple of finger sandwiches? You know what I mean? Like, I'm starving in here, bro.
They should do a version of that show wherever it is like the more it gets to the witching hour, he just looks crazier and crazier to where he's absolutely manic. Yeah, he's just like unbuttoned, wife beater on by like, all right, we go to the afternoon games, and he's just belly out.
Like, the Bears.
How are you feeling?
But the NFL was fantastic yesterday. Got to see a lot of rookies making plays, obviously, and one of those rookies was Jamar Chase, who just went off in Cincinnati. That and Cincinnati looks pretty damn good. Yeah. I mean, like, I know we're all fans of Cincinnati down here because of the Burrow-Chase connection, but when you watch them play yesterday, that was a great opening weekend
Mixon
win
had
for
like
them.
127 yards, too.
Mixon's a stud. Their defense is pretty good.
Defense played great. Their offensive line held up. I mean, there was a couple blitzes on like third downs that they gave up sacks.
Yeah, I mean, look, they're not there yet.
Yeah, but other than
they're
that,
taking
that's
they have taken the step.
It's not last year at all.
They look like a wild card team.
Yeah.
I mean, they look like an
That's what I
early
think.
playoff team. I mean, if I am the AFC, I'm looking around and saying, well, look out. You know what I mean? Like, watch out, man. I mean, it's definitely a team, or excuse me, the NFC that looks like they're going to be a problem. You know what I mean? Like, they look like they're going to be an issue.
Well, they can play spoiler.
Joe Burrow making that audible in overtime on 4th down was unbelievable. The amount of faith that they have in him already, where that was 100% going to be a quarterback sneak, dive, whatever, and he just hits him with the alert. I'm throwing it. Tight end wide open, feathers it to him, and he pimped it.
He did.
He held the
We
finish.
He knew. I mean, he dropped it in the bucket.
That was game.
I mean, he put it into a place where it almost made it impossible for the guy to drop the ball.
It. Yeah, he could have taken his shirt out and caught it like
this.
this.
He could have basket caught it.
Yes.
I mean, he was on time yesterday. He was on fire yesterday. I mean, when he's operating like that, he's so fun to watch. Mm-hmm. And he was in that element. Now, I mean, they held off the Vikings comeback. That game, I mean, that was a 5-quarter football game.
Yeah,
without a doubt.
I mean, they played 5 quarters in Cincinnati yesterday, playing nearly the entire 15-minute overtime for the 5th period, which Cincinnati wins at the gun after the 4th down conversion that Lloyd is referencing there, that Burrow picked up by throwing just a rainbow into his tight end's hands to pick up a crucial 1st down at the end of the game. But Jamar Chase and Joe Burrow's connection yesterday looked a lot like LSU, felt a lot like LSU at Clemson when they were dicing up those Clemson defensive backs as Chase just got behind the Minnesota Vikings DB, and Burrow laid it one right in the basket. Chase finished it off for a 50-yard touchdown, topped it off with the gritty, a celebration with Burrow. Burrow comes steaming down, pushes his wide receiver as to say, welcome to the league, big fella.
He knows when to pick his moment.
Chase in the post-game press conference sits down. He's answering some questions. In fact, our guy Brandon Soho, who was down here at WBRZ on the LSU beat, is now up in Cincinnati covering the Bengals and Jam and Burrow. We'll have to get him on at some point to just talk about how cool it is to have a front row seat in watching these two guys play. But he put out a piece of video yesterday. Can we play the video?
Yeah, I think we can play it.
only like 30
Courtesy
seconds.
of Brandon Soho. I mean,
yes.
Don't be mean
Please
to us,
YouTube.
dude. Yeah,
No,
just let
he's
us
good,
use
yeah.
it. Yeah, we're cool. We'll get you on the show. There it is.
Thank you.
thought he was dropping everything.
The hair.
I mean, just such an FU guy, bro.
He knows when to pick his moments talking shit.
He does, dude. And
That's the best part.
His it looks like his go-to now is just to kind of run his hands through his hair. That's kind of like his head nod to you, like say something.
That's his. Well, that might as well be the middle finger.
Right.
That's what he's doing. He's like, yeah, say something back. What?
But
We're good here, huh?
as soon as Jamar,
Did you see his teeth?
as soon as Jamar gets up from the podium yesterday, Burrow comes and sits down and asks the media. I thought he couldn't catch anything. Thought he was having a problem with drops, and he was. He makes sure and pimps his look for the cameras. I just
Questions.
They are so funny. They are so fun to watch in Cincinnati. Now, Bengals off to a 1-0 start. Also looking forward to the Monday night megacast that will hit tonight with the Peyton and Eli on ESPN2. That's going to be fun to watch. But the Saints on Sunday, man, just utter domination. You could see that Sean Payton was having some fun out there. Sean Payton, for the first time in a while, seemed like he was so just invested in everything in the game. And I'm not saying that he's been detached. It might be one of those things in sports that we have taken for granted over the last 15 seasons, is watching him and Drew Brees work alongside each other, and just how cool of an opportunity that has been from a fan's point of view to watch two masters of their trade go to work every Sunday and have, just this great vantage point of how they operate. But to see Peyton being able to call plays of pushing the ball down the field and trusting his quarterback, some of those fourth down calls, some of the ways he just managed the game yesterday felt very retro New Orleans in the way that they beat you. It felt very early on in the ways that they were prepared, the way that they execute, the way that they play call against you. I mean, that's why a lot of us fell in love with Sean Payton, right? Early on, was because you were like, this guy is an assassin.
He'll call anything.
I mean, he is
anytime.
out for your throat. He is trying to murder you on a national stage, and that's what it felt like yesterday. I don't know if he was trying to make a pledge or a plea to Aaron Rodgers on this is how we play, or if he's just settled in and saying, hey, we've got a big-time quarter. I mean, he didn't throw the ball, but
20 times.
20 times.
20 times
QBR of 92.
yesterday.
5 tutters.
Just totally picked his spots.
DTR.
Was playing over the top. It did feel a little like DTR. I thought that was a great comparison you made last night, Lloyd, when talking about Winston and after, having eyeballs that have freshly seen Dorian Thompson-Robinson and a guy like Chip Kelly call a game, which Chip Kelly is a master play caller. It did feel very similar to what LSU fans were watching last weekend.
Well, it seems like the playbook is finally open again. It feels like there's no play that's off limits for Sean Payton, and that's what he likes. He likes to have his full repertoire available, and then you saw it in the last, I would say, 2 years with Drew Brees, certainly last year, where they couldn't stretch the field at all, and it felt like Sean Payton was rejuvenated a little bit because he's like, I can.
Right.
Like, here's all these plays.
Remember these plays?
Yes. Oh shit.
They're usually like 40% of the
Devery Henderson's out there again,
Give
man.
me Devery back and we're good to go.
Yeah.
Marquez Callaway looked good. That had to be refreshing for Michael Thomas to see. Two's like, okay, I'm good. Like, we're good here. I do want to be on this team because that was a. I mean, Sean Payton loves the national stage, and that was what. 4 o'clock game.
Oh, I mean, Troy Aikman and Joe Buck.
It was a primetime game.
I mean, it was
America's game.
Yeah, it was America's game.
It doesn't get bigger than that aside from Sunday night or Monday night. And he was out there with his, balls out.
Well, and it shows you how important the O-line and play calling is.
They were so good.
Like, that's how the Saints won the game. O-line completely controlled the line of scrimmage, and Sean Payton was picking apart the Packers.
I mean, he was needling them, man. He was just cutting them up. Just cutting them up. I mean, Aaron Rodgers looked very disinterested in the third quarter. I mean, he looked as almost that pop-up that he threw to Marcus Williams into double coverage was almost kind of like a white flag.
Yeah.
Kind of like saying, like,
game.
like I'm done. I'm out of here, man.
And if you're Rodgers and you see like the two different styles of play calling where they're not taking any shots like really down the field, they're a lot of play action and get it to get it short. They off platform all of the time. And you see Jameis Winston standing back there for 10 seconds, and he's like,
and then throws it away.
Then throws it away. It's like,
that to me was one of his best plays yesterday.
Yeah.
That was
good dog.
That was as gratifying to see as a Saints fan than seeing the Deontay Harris long touchdown. To see him stand in the pocket for 10 seconds, see that there's nothing there,
did all his progressions,
and throw the ball away. Don't force it. Don't worry about it. Just live to play another down. Was as much of a growth point of Jameis Winston and watching that real time as seeing Sean Payton calling a play down the field. I mean, I thought that. I'm not crowning them Super Bowl champs, but you can win the Super Bowl with the way that they played yesterday. Not that's an obvious statement, but I mean, with the team that they rolled out yesterday, with who they are, I mean, the Saints are Super Bowl contenders.
You saw their ceiling.
And who they get back. Bradley Roby still hasn't played. He's back for week 2. David Onyemata comes back week 6. Michael Thomas comes back week 6. Like this isn't even the final form of what the Saints can be. It was very encouraging. And like I said, I think Sean Payton saw probably everything in the media that was like, well, this is going to be a wash, right? Packers going to come in and roll, coming off an NFC Championship loss. They have, little, vendetta after you see Tampa Bay play that way. And they just get steamrolled. Sean Payton just is grinding for that
hard knocks motivation.
No hard knocks.
Yes, no hard knocks, bro.
Send him to Green Bay.
Cajun Ready Mix provides ready mix concrete products and services to meet all of your concrete needs. If you need residential, commercial, industrial, and municipal concrete projects, get in touch with Cajun Ready Mix. They're online at CajunRMC.com. They have 9 certified plants to service the greater Baton Rouge area and all major outlying cities. That means that they can get your concrete to you on time and will be to the exact specifications. High quality products, grade A equipment, red carpet service, and clear safety standards is how you get in touch with Cajun Ready Mix. CajunRMC.com. Cajun Ready Mix, located right here in Baton Rouge and helping out the surrounding area, servicing the surrounding areas. Get in touch with Cajun Ready Mix for all of your concrete needs today. We will talk to Ross Dellenger about some of the college football weekend, obviously with what's happening around the SEC. Texas and Arkansas, Iowa and Iowa State were 2 of the big games of the weekend. How about Oregon going into the Horseshoe and upsetting Ohio State and really controlling that game from start to finish? As close as it got, they always made the answer on the road. What a win for Mario Cristobal and the Oregon program to travel across the country on a Saturday morning. That was an 11 o'clock kickoff in Columbus and take care of business the way that they did.
Where has the Joe Moorhead sighting last night? On Saturday, and that's that Joe Brady tree. That's where he comes from, right at Penn State. So keep your eye on old Oregon.
They beat him without Kayvon Thibodeau.
Yes, Thibodeau didn't play. He was on the sidelines, looked cool as hell. It looked like he's already been broke off.
Oregon's running back was a star of the game. I mean, he had 161 rush yards.
They scored in the same play 3 times.
Yeah, and then he was also their leading receiver.
Number 7?
Yeah.
Yeah. But that was...
Remember Prime Oregon, like 2011? They were so fun to watch.
Yeah, I know. God. Who was the quarterback?
I was asking that.
Dixon. Dennis Dixon. Should have won the Heisman, got hurt. But I'm not the biggest fan of Mario Cristobal, but if he brings Joe Moorhead in tow and they can kind of get that thing right, you can convince me. I like Joe Moorhead.
California schools suck, so they just steal all the LA talent.
Yeah. I don't know, man.
It's a good program.
Oh, Pac-12 doesn't look too bad. You got UCLA and Oregon.
It wasn't too bad.
All right, college football weekend as we react to a little bit of it from Sports Illustrated as our guy is over at SI.com, Ross Dellenger, who covers the sport over there. Make sure that you're following him on Twitter, at Ross Dellenger. Ross, I read your one of your latest pieces of works, and I know that must have been one of the most difficult pieces that you were putting together. I know that the last couple of weeks for you and your family has been filled with a lot of sadness, so I appreciate your time. It's good to catch up with you, my friend. I've been thinking and praying for your family, and hope everything is okay as you get back into the swing of college football. Thank you for joining us this morning.
Yeah, Jordy, thanks. I appreciate you saying that. It's it's been a tough time for a lot of families over the last year and a half, and at some point, I think, especially with cases surging like they are, that every single person is probably going to be closely impacted in you kind of waiting for it to happen to your family, and it happened to mine. And so it stinks, but got to kind of try to move on with life, and football's helping a little bit.
No way to transition out of a feeling and a thought like that. So let's jump into some college football stuff from last weekend. You were, if I'm not mistaken, we're in Columbus at Ohio State. How big of a win was that for Mario Cristobal's program, traveling across the country and beating Ohio State like he did on Saturday morning with the Ducks?
Yeah, it was huge for him. You know, he's in I believe year 4, and that's the year that you build to for recruiting purposes and such. You could see it happening at a lot of places around the nation. You know, Chip Kelly, year 4 at UCLA as well. You know, Dan Mullen, year 4 at Florida. You know, you build up to that year, and right now it seems like Mario Cristobal has built his program up in recruiting and his coaching staff and the culture, all that stuff that you want in building a program. He seems to be the Ducks seem to be where he wants them to be, and it was impressive to watch. You know, you could take a lot of things from that game, but one of the things I take from that game is what I took away from the LSU UCLA game. Something very similar is that a Pac-12 team kind of controlled the line of scrimmage against, you know, a powerhouse from, in this case, the Big Ten, and in the case of LSU, the SEC. And that's what was surprising to me, kind of stunning, is that on both lines, you know, Oregon could really do what they want running the football. They push. Now, their offensive coordinator, Joe Moorhead, former Mississippi State coach, did a heck of a job, and you could tell he outseen some things with the RPO against Ohio State, but they pushed him around, you know, and they pushed him around on both sides of the ball as well. Ohio State couldn't really run the ball very well, couldn't get a consistent run game going, and so that was a real stunning thing to watch in both of those games. The Pac-12 two biggest wins of the year, two biggest wins in a long time. And so that was really stunning. And then, of course, on the other side, you got an Ohio State team that had some real issues defensively, and not just, as I mentioned, the run game. I mean, there were people wide open. I mean, receivers wide open down the field. They've got some issues. They've got some things to fix.
I think everybody understood that Steve Sarkisian needs some time to buff up this roster in Austin. I don't think anybody expected Arkansas to run the ball for 330 yards on Texas on Saturday night. What did that win mean for Sam Pittman? What did that loss say about where Sark is in year 1?
I did not expect that. Pretty incredible game, and I was traveling back from Columbus Saturday night. I didn't get to watch hardly any of it, but it sounds like the Hogs kind of did what they wanted against Texas, and we all knew it's probably not going to necessarily be immediate success at Texas. I mean, they've got I don't know who tweeted it out during the game, but I thought it was a good point. Maybe Texas should try to stay in the Big 12 through the 2025 season. They want to get out early, and everybody's pretty clear that Texas and Oklahoma has made it clear that they want to get out early if they can. But maybe they should stay and recruit better and recruit what you need in the SEC, which is control at the line of scrimmage, because that game showed they don't seem to have it yet.
Somebody who doesn't seem to have it yet, it seems, is down here in Baton Rouge. It just seems like the first 2 weeks of the season have had a stench around LSU football. Obviously, the road trip out to L.A. did not go as planned. It was more about some of even the stories off the field that was haunting LSU rather than the things that they were not doing on the field to win the game. And then they come back to McNeese and they struggle fairly for a half, only up 17 at halftime, and that was a 17 that they had to get to by going for 3 4th downs in the first half, and just did not look like they were executing on a high level. They end up winning the game handily, but now they're going into a Central Michigan foe in Jim McElwain that is not going to be intimidated, taking his team down here in a place that he's very familiar with. What do you make of LSU after the first 3 weeks of the season, and what is the national discussion of where the program is, because we have had a lot of debate down here over the last couple of weeks about where LSU stands under Ed Ogeron's direction.
Well, again, just because I was on the flight back, I didn't watch any of the LSU game, but I did read about it. I did hear from people at the game fairly regularly.
I'm gonna text Ross.
New things weren't going well when I hear from people in the middle of the first quarter of a game against McNeese State. So what really seems to be disturbing, and it's something I just talked about UCLA and the Oregon, is the inability to run the football against an FCS team. And run the football in general. Now LSU's played 2 games, and I don't know how many rushing yards that they have total, but they struggled running the ball against a Pac-12 team, and they struggled running the ball against an FCS team, and that's a real problem. And you can imagine if you struggle running the ball against those 2 teams, how will you fare against the Alabamas and the Floridas and the Texas A&Ms of the world? So that's a real problem, and you got to dive into that issue, right? I mean, like, what's going on here? Is it schematically? Is it the offensive line struggling? What's happening here? I know that going into the season, I remember I was sitting in the team hotel, the team hotel in the lobby bar over in LA, 2 days before the UCLA game, and talking to some LSU folks. They're just trying to get a feel for the team. I hadn't caught up really in the off season much about the team, and I was asking around, and the concern was clear. The offensive line, just from talking to several people, the concern was obvious. And I think these people that I was talking to felt like most of the rest of the team was pretty strong. I don't know that that's the case. Now there were 2 games in, but clearly their concerns have been justified in the O-line, and you got to look at what's happening there. Is it recruiting? Like, look back at how that's happened. So, you asked about the national perception of what's going on down there. Certainly everybody in the national media is aware of what's happening in the struggle since the 2019 championship. And I think that is obvious kind of across the national landscape. And I know that, a lot of national media are kind of on the edge of their seats, seeing if this thing can get kind of turned around, so to speak, or if we're headed for some kind of fiery ends.
Do you believe Ed Ogeron can fix this?
I don't know. I guess I don't know. I know that.
Take I don't out of that statement.
I know that his first year, I remember. They got off to a bad start. Obviously, I remember they lost at Mississippi State, played really poorly. I think they had lost another game earlier that season.
Troy.
I'm trying to think of Troy. God,
yeah.
How do I forget? Yes, at home, and you felt like, I will never forget that. They came back. They were going to Florida, and I remember the game after Florida was I believe it was the Auburn game at home, and I remember the Board of Trustees had a big meeting before the Auburn game, but and it was like this build up to that point where, oh gosh, like, are they going to actually do something with their first year coach, because they had gotten off to this terrible start, and then they won it, and then LSU won at Florida and came home, and everything was a little better, and then they were down 20-0 at halftime against Auburn, and again you had that wave of, oh no. And they bounced back, and they won that game in one of the biggest comebacks, I think, in LSU history. So I'm taking that to say it can happen, like it can happen that he has brought a team back before, but it's going to take a little magic, right? It's going to take sounds like a lot of work. And again, if the players are the struggle, if it's the talent on the O-line, it's really kind of tough to change that mid-season.
Nick Saban turned over a lot of his roster last season. That was on display this weekend around the NFL with Mac Jones and Tua Tagovailoa going against each other in Foxborough this weekend. Ross, are you cooking?
What the hell was that?
Yeah, I'm doing a little microwave.
Okay.
My-
All right.
That's for going to space, dude.
All right, good deal. Is this his best quarterback in Bryce, and where do you feel about where he is? This team is after 2 weeks. They look as dominant as they've been over the last 5 years.
Yeah, it's you just every year you come in and you everybody talks about how much talent they've lost, how many starters they've lost, and then what does he do? He just comes out with more talent and more 5-star starters who are out there just moving the ball at will against everybody. And they're doing it all over again, and it seems like we've said this now, 5 to 7 years in a row. It goes all the way back to before Tua. I mean, it just seemed to replace whoever left, and that starts on the ground in recruiting in the offseason, of course. And that's where all that starts, and it's just it's really tough. I know they had an early problem with Mercer. They just weren't clicking, and then of course they found it along the way, and they can't have an early problem this week. They've got to go down to Gainesville. It's going to be and I'll be down there, and it's going to be an electric, probably pretty incredible environment down there. And Florida's got it going pretty good. Their defense is a lot better than what it's been in the past. They have kind of a quarterback issue, kind of a 2-quarterback issue, but both of them are decently talented. One of them is very talented. Yeah. So this will be a test. This will be interesting for this kind of younger, more inexperienced Alabama team. This will be a big kind of measuring stick for them.
Ross Dellenger from Sports Illustrated. We will catch up with him each week of the college football season. Thank you, buddy. Eat up.
All right, Jordy. See y'all later.
Later, man. There is Ross Dellenger checking in. He mentioned the 2-quarterback system over in Florida. Anthony Richardson. Is he hurt? I saw that he came up a little gimpy.
I think he's good.
On Saturday. He did.
I'm not surprised he's hurt. He was hurdling people 2 weeks ago. Right. He was running. It looked like it was a highlight film.
Anthony Richardson is the quarterback that Dellenger was referencing there, along with Emory Jones. But the Gators do look pretty stout on defense.
He had 275 on the ground.
On Saturday? Alone?
Yes.
Him? Or Florida's round attack?
I'm almost positive it was Anthony Richardson.
He was. I'm looking at just his passing stats. Anthony Richardson, 3 for 3, 152 yards, 2 touchdowns, long of 75.
Well, that's his deal. Everything he touches seems to be like an explosive play.
Right. 115 on the ground.
115 on the ground and 152 in the air?
Yeah.
And he's not their starter.
And the answer
2 passing touchdowns and a rushing touchdown.
It's a fantasy dream.
And the answer about our rushing for the season, we're at 172 yards.
In 2 games.
Yes.
Anthony Richardson has outrushed LSU in almost 1 game.
Yes. Yep. Yes. Quick math.
Cool. We're in trouble.
No, the big trouble. big trouble. LSU's in big trouble. Really, I mean,
maybe Trey Bradford can fix it.
When you look around LSU, I mean, first off, I wonder, really and truly, I wonder how bought in there were times on Saturday where you look at body language and you just look at the sideline and you look at the way things are being portrayed, right? I mean, you just look at what how they are carrying themselves.
They're forcing the towel.
And I do think that you are curious to how much people are bought in. I mean, it's like it starts at the top. Yeah, I mean, there are shots of Ed Ogeron on the sidelines where he just looks disinterested. You know what I mean? Very much. I mean,
disinterested. $7 million a year.
Well, not only that's why he is disinterested, but imagine being on that team that was on that roster in 2019. Whenever you had that season, and then now you look up and in the second quarter it's 7-0 against McNeese, and you're like, are we in a dogfight right now? Like, it's almost easier to check out at that point, because if we're doing this right now, like, I don't even want to play Florida at night here. Like, I don't want to get embarrassed. Like, they got to find something to switch this thing around. And I don't think it's a big game, because UCLA was a big game, and they weren't interested then. Like, it's a problem.
LSU's offense,
like, they know they're bad
right now, is ranked 13th in the SEC.
It's only 12 teams.
There's 14 teams.
No kidding.
And they're ahead of the one that you probably would think that they are.
Alabama.
Who?
Vanderbilt.
Yeah. Vanderbilt.
Vanderbilt did win last week. Good for them.
They are ahead of Vanderbilt in the SEC for total offense. They're 93rd nationally
What are we in Russia?
in total offense after 2 weeks. I don't know.
376.
They've got how many teams are there?
It's bad, man.
Central Michigan is 24.
Back-to-back 200-yard rushing games for Central Michigan.
Yes.
Going into LSU,
And the
which
line's 20.
hasn't been able to stop the run necessarily, or really. I mean, if you take any takeaway from McNeese, I guess that the defense looked better.
The D-line?
The D-line looked well. I mean, poor Cody Orgeron. He probably woke up in an ice bath this morning from Saturday.
Yes.
Like, looked like Minority
Well,
Report.
that's what I thought was going to happen in the UCLA game with the defensive line. Like, you saw how a defensive line could take over a game.
Those are the games that you hope your defensive line dominates, right?
Right.
Oh, yeah.
But Mason Smith, in my opinion, I mean, he has shown you through the first 2 weeks. How do you take him off the field? I mean, how
shouldn't.
how does he not play? I mean, if they're going to run a 4-man front, put Ojulari and Gay on the outsides, and put Jaquelin Roy and Mason Smith inside, and let them eat.
Let him eat.
Just let them do
Good
work,
God,
man.
what a rotation.
There is, and that's what's so frustrating about this LSU team. It feels like because when you start talking about like,
The names.
look at this D-line, look at this depth. You're
Yes.
like, where is it? What's happening? So there's a lot of like, the potential is there for sure. Then you start talking about people buying in, and that's what they're missing. If you could get these guys to buy in, because they can play. I mean, we didn't have to call Stingley's name once on Saturday. That's because he's doing his job. Made a couple of tackles. Like put that to bed immediately. Like the kid can play.
Yeah.
It's like don't mention like there's no words other than he's a top 5 pick. But like if you could just get that one extra, they need a big win just to get this thing tilted in the right direction. I don't think Central Michigan's a big win.
At this point, I think it is.
State revenge game might be it.
Stopping the crossing routes?
I think that a guy like Mike Leach is looking at LSU's
Oh, he's
defense,
playing the
licking
chops, dude.
his
He's having-
chops. Like, no way these guys haven't got
Again?
it figured out in a year.
Running a 4-3
You know what I mean?
when
Like,
it was Madden.
he's probably looking on film going, I am about to chop these cats up again.
Dude, he ran 5 plays last year on us.
5. He really did.
Straight up
I mean,
5
like, he just
plays.
ran 5 plays.
Well, that's how it
It's-
usually is. He just has a note card of plays.
116th in the country in rushing.
That's good. 24-10 against NC State. Mississippi State, a little scary against Tech.
But
We'll
they
see.
scored 23 unanswered.
We'll see against Memphis how good Mississippi State is.
Yeah.
But if you're LSU, I would still be very concerned.
LSU's got to be concerned about everybody.
Yeah, there's no breaks
There's
here.
there's nobody on LSU's schedule until UL Monroe, which is the second to last game of the season. So I'm talking about like at the end of November, mid-November, that you have one team on the schedule that you say put the W next to it. I mean, like after this past weekend, Arkansas, Ole Miss, Kentucky, Florida. All of those teams look. That's what I'm saying. Ole Miss, I mean, Mississippi State really is kind of the last one where you figure you might be either a pick'em or a slight favorite.
It's at Mississippi State. It's
So
gonna
probably
be
not.
pick 'em.
So it's probably going to be a pick'em. I mean, I
Those
can't look at
cowbells.
one game left on the schedule outside of this one, which Vegas, in my opinion,
It's got
is
totally wrong.
gifting you Central Michigan.
We can talk off air if you want to put a little shekel down.
Well, I already have. I mean, 24 points. It opened at 24.
Unbelievable.
Did you put it at 24?
I got it at 22.
That's free money.
I mean,
They're
that
paying
feels
you.
like free money. It feels like free money when you talk about this game.
How much do you think the spread drops throughout the week when we get to
I think
Friday?
it probably
14?
I think
Is
it'll
it
go down to
17?
12. I think it'll hit 12.
No, it can't drop 10 points.
I could see it at like.
I mean, I think that the money is going to be so heavy on Central Michigan that it is going to sway the thing. I mean, it is going to move it a couple of points.
got it at 21.
You got it at 21?
It feels safe.
What did you put on it? How much?
Well, paycheck.
I don't blame you.
Doubling up, bro.
Double up.
About to double up this week.
All on
Got that
red.
Sanji money.
Just, oh,
Good
man.
God, dude.
It's tough to watch.
I mean, Auburn. I'm looking at Auburn's highlights.
No.
They look good.
I mean, you can't put the W next to Auburn. I mean, like it should be a good game, but I mean, with the way that Auburn's executed, the way that they dominated their opponents up to, I know they haven't played anybody, but I mean, they've won the way that they should have won.
Well, LSU is like you could say the same thing about LSU. Like guess UCLA is to play somebody, but before the year you would think not. But that McNeese, like that, it should have been like 56-0.
Yes,
And
absolutely.
It was
dominating.
we're watching the fourth quarter.
Running up and down the field on them. I mean, you should be moving those guys
They
around.
were dropping
I mean,
like flies.
Should Armani be RB1?
yes, 100%.
What are we doing here?
But I think he's hurt.
He's hurt again.
I mean,
He's
like
gumped.
he got a.
What? How?
But he got hurt on the
How?
first play of the
First
game.
carry.
I mean, his
How
first
did he always
He got
get hurt?
He got rolled up.
his first play of the game. Yeah, he got rolled up. I mean, I don't know where he'll be this week, but I mean, he's definitely your best running back.
He looked the most
Get the
electric
most juice. I
yes.
mean, he's just got the most hop to him, the most bounce to him. It looked like he's got the most open field speed to him, because it seems like John Emery's going to miss the season. I mean, there's nothing official from the program on it, but there is a ton of smoke around something going on off the field with Emery that has put his junior season in jeopardy, and it does not look like he's going to be able to be eligible until December. And if that's the case, I said this last night, I'd be willing to say I don't know if he takes another snap at LSU. I don't know how he plays another down at LSU other than like totally overhauling his direction. I mean, like, he's got to totally change who he is, what he's about, in my opinion, to have some type of impact on LSU football. If he's suspended for the season and he can't play, just what another story off the field that you're just like, how do you lose Dare Rosenthal? How is John Emery
Not
ineligible?
available.
How is John Trey Kirkland, a senior,
Waving a
still in
towel.
dress clothes, waving a towel on the
Scooting around
sidelines?
campus.
It just, the look, Arik Gilbert, all this stuff is
What's
just,
going on?
what the hell is going on, man?
What the hell's going on out here?
Exactly. Very much, man. I got to bounce out of here at 8 o'clock. I got a little meeting up at Little Jay's
I
school.
wonder how that's gonna go.
Me too.
Did he get in trouble?
No, he didn't get in trouble.
Oh.
No, he didn't get in trouble.
I just imagine you're not happy.
No,
See, I can feel it.
it's.
Somebody's gonna get a
Well, I mean,
lashing.
somebody help me out on this. I mean, if your children go to a Catholic school around the area, my son sat a seat behind someone who tested positive for COVID last week at school on Wednesday. This happened on Wednesday. And now they're in the 3 feet socially distanced mandated space with masks on, like they're mandated to do.
In
so
class?
in
God.
class.
And you thought school
In
couldn't
class.
get worse.
In
Like,
class.
I
strap
have to wear a
up.
mask.
So
in
the
class.
kid doesn't come to school Thursday or Friday. The kid that tests positive for COVID, they come onto the football field Friday afternoon and rip Jordan and 2 of his classmates off of the practice field because they have sat
2v1?
within close contact of this kid, and tell them they cannot play in the game on Sunday. They can't play yesterday, and they have to miss this entire week of school.
Whoa.
Now, since that, Jordan has produced a second negative test, COVID test for the school. Like, he's tested negative now twice. Once since exposed, and that one time since his exposure was 72 hours after he was exposed. And they're still telling him that he can't go to school
What?
and that he still can't play.
See, that's the rub here. You
That-
don't care about the school. You're ripping
No,
quarterback
no,
one
no.
off the
No,
field
it's not.
on
It's not.
Sunday.
It's absolute principle of
Where's the logic?
you're an education institution and you're sending these kids home when they're showing and proving to you that they don't have the disease. They're no threat to spread the disease. In fact, they're showing you that they're negatively tested for the disease, and you're still telling them that they can't play. And as educators and leaders, nobody is concerned about the mental anguish that is happening to these kids. I mean, what's the lesson that we teach these 3 kids that they were ripped off the practice field on Friday afternoon without any explanation from any of the leadership? I mean, the athletic director at Our Lady of Mercy just walked out onto the practice field, shrugs his shoulders, and says, these 3 guys have to sit. And when the parents ask for an explanation, he's, I don't know.
Protocol.
I
Contact tracing.
don't know what to tell you. I'm sorry. I can't.
Really don't know.
I really don't have any answers for you. Like, well, you better produce some, because I mean,
It's coming in hot.
It's going to be so hot.
no, I'm not. We've got a spokesperson.
Okay.
Because I can't be it. You know what I mean? Because my emotion and my
Runneth over.
passion will get the best of me in this, and we will get excused from the room. But it is maddening the leadership and the lack of leadership that has been shown around the kids in schools in our area. And I know that I'm the one that's being affected on it right now. It's disgusting to see the leadership be such a failure at so many levels, like it is within the Catholic school diocese, and in particular at Our Lady of Mercy School. Like I'm about to go have a meeting at 8:15 this morning with their leadership and ask them, what the hell are we doing?
So he's not.
Are you in the business of educating kids or not? Because for you to think that this is okay with the way that you're handling this is a huge, enormous issue that is going to bubble over into more and more problems. And for those people not to see that is, I mean, some of the conversations that I've had with administrators, principals, priests over the last 72 hours, and they're just pure blasé, just the way that they're just nonchalant about it. Just sorry,
shoulder shrug.
Yeah, just
It's the easiest
sorry.
way to do it, right?
Just-
Just send them home.
Sorry, man.
That is every COVID response.
Are you a teacher this week? Are you gonna have to brush up on some studies?
What?
Are you homeschooling little Jay, or is he
Nah,
at
the new 2K came out.
Yes, he's on the Zoom.
Oh, okay.
He's going to be Zoom taught.
Oh.
That's cool.
Yeah,
even
but
get
it's
the week
not.
off?
He's not. I mean, like, he wants to be in school.
Right, of course.
He wants to be with his classmates. He wants to be practicing football. He wants to be playing. I mean,
Well, that's when you get into the middle anguish of it. It's like this is interrupting everything that I'm used to doing, and I'm not COVID positive.
Good God, what a mess.
it's a mess.
That's a mess.
It is a
What
mess.
is that? What are they doing?
I mean, it is the leadership at Our Lady of Mercy has been so disappointing, and just with the way that they have. I mean, the lack of communication, the lack of explanation, the fact that you can just rip kids out of the classroom and off the practice field without any discussion, and not understand as leaders, evaluators, and teachers the mental backlash that you are creating within these young students is what's the purpose? What is your purpose as a leader, as a teacher, in setting examples, in trying to push them out of the classroom and take them off the practice field? Why aren't you fighting for these kids, for your students, in what's right? He's tested negative for COVID. He's no threat to spread the disease. And you're telling him he can't come around.
It's no threat to really get sick either.
One kid test positive at Our Lady of Mercy last Wednesday. 10 kids have been sent home because of one positive test. How in the hell does that happen? How is that responsible from an institution that you've even got the classroom set up where if one kid tests positive, that it affects 10? How? None of those answers can be produced.
Well, we'll find out here in about 15 minutes.
It's been maddening, man.
Gross incompetence.
It's disgusting.
What?
Daily, we are brought to you by Falaya Real Estate. Remember, you can find them online at falayarealestate.com. Falaya Barrett Blondo is selling your house. You can save thousands today. Sell your home like a pro. Exposure on MLS, Zillow, Realtor.com, and all the major sites. Everything has changed around us, including the way we buy and sell real estate. Get over to Falaya.com. From virtual tours to push-button offers, Falaya is redefining how real estate is sold. For more information, visit Falaya.com or download the Falaya app today. Google or App Store. Look them up. We will be back at some point. You guys going to keep it rolling?
What do you want to do, Jackie boy? You got school? What do you want to do?
Y'all take
I'm
a
cool.
break, figure it out, come
Okay.
back, let them know. But we're going to be back at some point this afternoon, and we'll have booty calls. We'll have
This is my
Kayshawn.
school.
We'll have Kayshawn here. So if you guys want to continue the discussion, talk about what you saw at the NFL, talk about what you saw
Talk about how we called Frat
over the
Stafford.
weekend, then
Stafford coming out with the sleeve on. Just a whole new
LA
man.
looked great. LA looked great. Have a great day. We'll be back with you tomorrow.
Take it.
Gearing up for spring and summer down here in South Louisiana, and you want to keep your lawn maintained during these sunny seasons, get in touch with our friend Blake Abear over at Abear's Lawn Maintenance, where he says, you grow it, I mow it. 225-485-8022. 225-485-8022 is where you can find Hebert's Lawn and Maintenance, the official lawn and maintenance company of the undisclosed location. Papa Earl's, the fine spice, originating right down here in South Louisiana by our guy Mark Pop Norman. Developed it back in 2018 and won Amazon's Newcomer of the Year in 2019. They pride themselves in having 30% less salt and sodium than the leading brands at the same price point. You can find them locally. Look for Papa Earl's at Rouse's, Calandro's, Mathern's, High Neighbor, and more. True Blue Water, true hydration at its finest. Right now, you're only a few minutes away from getting your 5-gallon water delivered to you, just like we are over here at the UDL. All you got to do is log on to truebluewater.com. That's TRU, bluewater.com. The website's fantastic over at truebluewater.com. You can get your service and find out how quick it is. You can schedule a delivery, even hop on the billing system right there at truebluewater.com. Go Flow bluewater.com. Go Flow IV and Spa, 7970 Jefferson Highway is where you can find them, or you can simply go online to goflowiv.com. Go Flow IV Spa is a medical spa that specializes in IV hydration with vitamin infusion. At Go Flow IV Spa, they can help you with a wide range of issues, from skin care to illness recovery, athletic performance, hangover cure, chronic illness, and even chronic dehydration. GoFlowIV.com or stop in and see them, 7970 Jefferson Highway.
Hazard car.
That man is on a mission right now. I would be terrified.
So we were talking bets. We were talking the Central Michigan line. What's the line after this meeting? Little J has to transfer schools.
I don't know, man. There's gonna be a point of I'll pull his ass out of here. I would imagine.
Oh, that's the trump card.
I mean, he's
does that to go here?
I would say if I was a reporter and I wanted to get hot on the scoop, Lil J's in the transfer portal.
Lil J's in the transfer portal. Flag football team. Is it flag football season right now for the kids?
It's real football season. He's cool. He's QB1.
Is he QB1?
Safety. Plays both ways. If you can't take this kid off the field, I wonder. They probably lost on Sunday.
I love the question you asked. You're like, it's about football, right?
That definitely is. He's just placating. Yeah. Every time it comes back to him, it's like, wasn't the game on Sunday? He's like, well, yeah, you can't practice this week. I mean, I get it. If I was Lil J, I would be livid. If you're 12 years old, and you can't. You only go to school.
Well, he has to do Zoom. I would be fine. I'm like, all right, well, I'm just because 2K just dropped. I'd play Madden and play 2K for probably because in Madden now you can play as you see how like you can play as LSU, Oklahoma,
right,
Florida.
You could make Lil J.
I'd be playing that for 20 hours. It's like no school, thank you. Like I got school right now.
This is when you do the take a picture of yourself, put it in front of the Zoom, like you're pensive. And then you just play video games all day.
Ferris Bueller.
Yeah, you just slide a old card in. But yeah,
so
I don't want to be.
Zoom is evil. There's no more. I mean, you guys never had to worry about it here, but like the beauty of a snow day, like that's not a thing anymore.
No, I guess they take away all of your other breaks for Zoom days. I don't know. I'm so
Dude,
glad I'm not
gonna
school,
lie.
dude.
There was one year, I think it was my sophomore year of high school. Lloyd, I shit you not, from November to March, I didn't have a single Monday because it snowed it snowed every Sunday. And then there was like the one time I didn't do my homework on Sunday because I'm like, Well, come on, man. I'm playing the numbers.
Yeah, I'm going Tuesday through Friday at this point.
But the thing was, I got out of school June 30th.
When do you normally get out of school?
Like June 13th.
Oh, you had to make up on those days.
We had to make up like 17 Mondays.
We are getting to the point where LSU is back to where it feels like a little bit of the Les Miles era, whenever we're just pimping everything that they do on the weekend. And by weekends, I mean Sundays. Like, we're going to find highlights from the NFL players.
LSU, all of that.
Right, like that's our calling card at this moment, because you got Jamar Chase going off, Justin Jefferson, Joe Burrow, Tyler Shelvin, all in the same field, playing on week 1.
Well, we're trying to go back to the old spank bank. Glory days.
God, it did. God, what a pass.
I mean, I saw the look on your face. We brought it up. We were talking about, like, the defensive line. It's like, you're Jaquan Roy, Ollie Gay, B.J. Ojulari, and you put Mason Smith. And you're like, well, this team should be nasty. And it's like, what is happening?
I think it says...
How do you fix that O-line? I think
you can't.
The easy situation is stop having him do 3 reads at the line of scrimmage. You have 2 routes, look at it, go, don't throw it away or scramble. Like, keep it simple. Just keep it very, very simple. Get the ball out of your hands quick. And not being able to run the ball really hurts.
Yeah,
You're using half your playbook.
Right, that's where it hurts, because if you have an LSU team where they have something that they can lean on, like a run game, or like everything is predicated off of being able to do one thing, and LSU can't do anything. So you put Max Johnson there, there's no threat of a run game, because they don't have to. If you're a defense, you don't have to do anything special to stop it. So you can stay in your base defense and then almost play pass first. And you can tell Max Johnson is just... He's so uncomfortable, man, because he doesn't trust anything that he's really seeing.
Make a mistake.
Yes,
that's all right.
That really is.
It's not your job to lose. Like, it's your job.
Right. He's playing like he played last year, because that's what won him the job, was the ability to not turn the ball over, be very methodical in his approach, and play safe, essentially. Like,
I don't like that they're not saying don't run. Like, no, that's a part of your game. Like,
he took off a couple times Saturday.
I know, but it's a trained dog. They're like, don't use those legs. You know what I mean? Like, we can't use... No, that's not how you're supposed to play football.
And
that's my take. Play to your strengths.
Play your game, because you're getting hit anyway. He's getting demolished in the pocket. So you might as well take the show on the road.
God, when they missed that block,
I mean,
they blew him up.
Yeah, it's gonna happen. And I think
that was like a Bama player.
I think Sean said it best. That was the most electric 1 for 5 I've ever seen from Garrett Nussmeier. He came in and immediately throws first play go ball. I don't think Max Johnson's thrown a go ball since he's been at LSU. Like, we just don't stretch the field vertically. No. And Nussmeier goes out there at first play. That's what he does. So there's elements to this offense that make it seem like it could work, but Max Johnson's going to have to start taking some chances. Otherwise, this thing's cooked.
Did you like that Keyshawn Boutte jet sweep? I screamed, oh my, Matt Canada.
Yeah, well, Matt Canada gets a win in Pittsburgh. Yeah, I mean, they look terrible, but they got a dub. But anything to get the ball in Keyshawn Boutte's hand, I love that they did the little fly motion where they send him in motion, pivots back out of the backfield, and give him a little swing pass. That's what I was screaming for week 1 after watching the UCLA game. It's like, look, you got to find your ways. Any way that you can do it to get Keyshawn Boutte the ball, you do it, because you got him. He is by far and away your best player on offense. Use him. Like, if this thing's going to be stagnant like that, let Boutte get 12 to 15 touches on offense, no matter how you have to do it.
I mean, when running the ball is so abysmal, just throw it to him in the flats.
Oh, yeah. Like,
throw the screens. Just put it in. He's so slippery. I'm on the Keyshawn Boutte punt return bandwagon.
How often? That falls. I guess if you're going to use... Yeah,
but he's so slippery.
Yeah, he is.
You can't tackle him.
And if you can't really be concerned with fatigue, because Trey Palmer's back there, so it's not like you're not using a wide receiver.
It's Keyshawn Boutte. The kid's a freak.
Right, but he's going to be out there every snap. He's playing 80 snaps a game.
He's a freak.
I agree. Get him the ball as many times as you can. I'm sure he returned punts in high school. He played running back in high school.
Do you want to go Hero of the Week?
Yeah, let me download this video while you do yours.
My Heroes of the Week is, how about Chandler Jones of the Arizona Cardinals? I thought it was a fake stat at first. He had 5 sacks and 2 forced fumbles against the Titans in the Cardinals' victory, right?
Oh, yeah, dude, the Cardinals might have been the most impressive team of the weekend. They finally have...
There's most sacks in the game.
I think he had 5 sacks.
He did have 5 sacks.
Yeah.
I'm just looking up the most sacks in the game.
But it seems like they were the biggest takeaway, aside from probably Tampa Bay. Obviously, you know that they return all 22 starters, so you knew what they were going to look like. Arizona is probably the most mystifying team because of who they have with
I like Kyler.
with Kyler Murray
Hopkins.
and their head coach, who's promised to bring in this electrifying offense. They saw a little bit in the red zone, but they seemed to put it all together yesterday. Having him and DeAndre Hopkins and AJ Green is a problem.
I wish
had 2 tutties
AJ Green's
yesterday.
the John Wall of the NFL.
What do you mean?
They're always hurt.
Yeah, AJ Green is always, but he's 38 years old.
What could have once been. But Chandler Jones, 5 sacks, 2 forced fumbles. You ever hear the Chandler Jones story of the police when he was in New England?
No.
So Chandler Jones accidentally smoked K2 synthetic marijuana.
Oh, no.
And it fucked with him, and he freaked out. And next thing you know, he ends up at Rob Gronkowski's house butt naked, freaking out. Like, Rob, I don't know what's going on. Help me. So whenever I hear Chandler Jones, I think of that story.
If you could call one person, if you're freaking
Boy,
out,
it's Gronk.
Rob. It's Gronk. We'll take
No,
care
you're
of
good,
you.
bro.
Yeah,
Don't
we're
worry.
good. Yeah,
This
settle
ship
down.
will sail. Hey, I got something for
I'm
you.
also naked. Come on in.
My other hero of the week was Sam Darnold beating the Jets. That's got to be the most New York Jets thing ever.
Has
You
to
trade
be.
your quarterback to draft a quarterback, and your old quarterback outplays you and beats you.
I mean, I feel for you as you're a Jets fan. I've never met one, and I don't know what to tell you. I mean, if there's anything, I think there's a little bit of promise there that Zach Wilson probably looked a little better than Sam Darnold did.
He'll come back, and
But,
Corey Davis played good.
I mean, that's a rough look, brother.
I don't know. Like, my peak as a fan was going to 2 straight AFC Championship games
Yeah,
and
with
losing,
Mark- yeah.
mind you.
Mark Sanchez.
The Sanchez. Do you have my the Bills video I sent you?
I do not. Is it on the document?
Yeah.
I don't know what's wrong with this thing. But anyway, my hero of the week is I'm going to try to pull up this video whenever I can. But there was a cat in the wall at the Miami game where he was.
In Foxborough, that was right.
No, this was in Miami. Miami, like Saturday night.
Oh, I thought you were saying Dolphins. My bad.
No. So the Miami Hurricanes, they had a home game in the Hard Rock at the U, yes. And there's a cat that had finagled its way into the stadium, got lodged behind a banister that they had hung up, like he put himself in there. He's hanging from the second terrace, probably 30 to 45 feet in the air, I would say, and he's dangling by one toenail, one little fingernail. It looks like real life Lion King, and then he falls. But there's people beneath him that have a stretched out American flag. They catch the cat in the flag and then hold him up, Mufasa style, Simba, and the entire place erupts. It was more entertaining.
Simba something.
Yes. For that 1 minute, that was the most entertaining thing in the stadium where everybody was watching, and they saved this cat's life, throw him up, and get an entire just standing ovation. It was
you have the
unbelievable.
video?
Yeah, I'm about to download it right now. It is
Miami won that
unreal.
game, of course, right?
Yeah, I think they were playing a nobody, but just for that to happen in that moment was awesome.
I think they're about to go on a win streak.
Well, yeah,
Rally
dude.
Possum, Rally Cat.
Yeah.
Yankees.
Oh, dude, you could be right.
Happened to the Yankees. There was a cat that ran on the field against the Orioles, and they won 11 straight. And now they suck again.
They got into a little verbal spat last night. That actually made me tune in.
Isn't baseball cool and stuff like that?
Yeah, that made me watch the game.
Yeah, when you're allowed to talk shit and have fun, flip your bat.
They were, the way that they were rounding the bases, like just jawing at each other, like literally stopping between second and third to talk shit to Lindor.
It was because throughout the
They said
weekend,
they were whistling.
So Lindor did that, and then Stanton hit one, and he was whistling to him, talking his talk, and then Lindor like, all right, fuck you. Pimps one out to tie it.
3 bombs by Lindor to make an absolute statement for him, because he's been a total bust for the Mets up to this point. But for them to get that win, 9-11 Subway Series, that's an electric moment, and it could be a little tipping point for old Lindor, because he's a good player.
Did you? God, I'm just looking at the scores from the weekend. My God, did you see that Notre Dame barely? Is Notre Dame good this year?
I don't know. They got a transfer from Wisconsin to play quarterback. Jack.
Dude, they barely beat Toledo.
I mean, all they have to do is, it's Notre Dame. They get.
I know they're gonna sneak in eventually.
Right, but then they'll get hog-mollied by Alabama in the first game, 42-10 in the playoff, and then they'll go home.
Did you watch that Florida game?
No.
That backup's gonna be the starter.
Yeah, you'll get a heavy dose of Anthony Richardson throughout the year.
They're gonna fuck us up.
Yeah, they're like like we were talking about with Jordy, it's hard to go through that schedule the way we did in the preseason or before the season started if you're in college football and go, we were ticking off wins left and right.
Yeah,
And then once we got eyes on LSU, it's like, there's not a win on the schedule that is not going to be absolutely fought for.
I mean, you were saying they were looking fat out there.
That's an odd take. But yeah, I mean, if you're going to have your offensive lineman come out and say we're out of shape, that's the problem. For him to be able to just speak that openly about it means it's well known around, like, in the locker room, it's like, yeah, dude, we're out of shape. Like, he's not saying anything that they don't already know. But for him to say it publicly is a massive statement and indictment on LSU.
My thing is just, what? We all said it together. What the hell? What the hell's going on?
What's going on?
John Emery at school. Kirkland was school. You had Gilbert with an 0.2. You have Ed Ingram just being as transparent as you can ever be. I mean, when he was in that press conference, him and Shanahan, I was like, oh my God, you can't be saying this right now. You have players just looking disinterested. I remember an Auburn game that was the biggest blowout LSU history last year, and they're just thinking about what party they're going to go to last year. Seems like nothing has changed. It's just, what the hell is going on? You have the talent. Just teach the horses how to run.
That's what, I mean, it has to be concerning whenever, because I know we already said this, but when you look across and you see 4-star, 5-star,
especially
4-star,
when you track
4-star.
recruiting. When
Right.
you track recruiting.
It's become a development issue at this point, to where it's, I know these guys could play. There's a reason you wanted them on your team and that you were, fighting tooth and nail with Alabama, Georgia, Florida to get them to commit to LSU, and then you get them on campus, and then what have you gotten? Like, it's the gap from high school to college. There's been no transition period for them to be able to develop, it seems like. So
What's the buy-in? What's the mission statement? We all know 2019, one team, one heartbeat. They did it. You reached the peak of the mountain. Now what? And I just feel like now it's just like, now what?
It seems like the message is probably worn a little thin to the players, where I don't know if you're in the NFL, I feel like you have to come up with something new every year to get your guys bought in, because they're, you have eight-year players in the league that have heard your message for, so many years in a row. You have to do something to change the juice, and I'm wondering.
Well, those guys are ultra competitive, cut from a different cloth. Nick Saban is up 48-7 against Mercer. 2 minutes left in the fourth. He's going to be losing his mind. He will be in the ref's ear saying every single curse word in his. He's going for blood every single Saturday. It's like, oh, is he like that? Are you going for blood? Before the national championship, the guy was one of the most driven coaches in college football. He was doubted his whole career, slept in a broom closet.
Just to get this exact opportunity he has now.
Got his dream job,
and now
won a national title in this dream job, and it's like, what gets him up? What gets him up?
You would hope that
Pussy?
Like, if you
money.
It seems to be one of the two, but it would just seem like you would hope that if you could pick one person to be the head coach just based on sheer want to and wanting the job, it was Ed Orgeron, and now it seems like some of that has faded.
I don't blame him. That's tough. You reached the mountaintop.
Yeah, but he got very relaxed in his seat and where he was. He's taking this for granted. And that was something that we never thought would happen.
Well, when you go against cats like Jimbo Fisher, Nick Saban, Dabo Swinney,
there's no off day.
You can't relax. It's a 365-day job a year. Ultra competitive every single day. Going for blood.
Monday night, who you got?
Football?
Ravens.
Oh, I'm going
Raiders.
Death Star. Grand party tonight. Even though they kind of suck. They really messed up those picks. What is that? At one point they had 5 first-round picks in like 2 years.
They drafted somebody.
The only good pick was Josh Jacobs.
And he's hurt. He might be out tonight. He's doubtful.
Really?
Yeah. And they take a defensive lineman from Clemson, like 3rd overall. A lot of good players still on the board. I think Devin White was in that draft.
Mm-hmm.
And he's not been a bad player, but I'd rather Devin White than almost anybody in that draft.
Woody Gruding, he got the 10-year, $100 million contract, right?
Mm-hmm.
Jesus, wide receiver money.
But
I just wanted to end with NFL Tigers and the pros. Just
read them off, dude.
I mean, like you said, we're just going back to the old spank bank of joy.
It really is.
He played there. Remember that? Remember we had a linebacker, Devin White?
The Joe Burrow racing downfield to Jamar Chase was Noah said, he's like, I have a tear in my eye. It's like, it does. It felt like my boys are growing up.
Look at them.
But, I mean, that's half the reason if you're Cincinnati, you have to be thrilled that you got Jamar Chase, because I didn't see any drops.
Tigers in pro. Jamal Adams, 3 tackles, 3 solo tackles, and 3 assisted tackles after being the highest paid safety in the NFL. Quan Alexander, he only had 1 tackle.
But he was flying around out there.
He was everywhere.
He was everywhere. Coming off an Achilles, I think the biggest landmark for that is that he was just able to play. And play fast.
Cut, be lateral after an Achilles, playing off that foot. Very impressive. How about Joe Burrow? 20 for 27, 261 yards, 2 touchdowns in a win. Balls of steel, 4th down, calls it audible, puts it in the bucket. They believe in him so much.
Oh, he has the keys to the castle. Like, he absolutely is allowed to do whatever he wants at the line of scrimmage. They're living and dying with whatever Joe Burrow wants to do on offense, and he can. And that's where you get into this Max Johnson, Joe Burrow. Was it Joe Brady's offense, or was this just Joe Burrow? Because his ability,
whatever, it worked.
Yeah,
it's over.
To diagnose things at the line of scrimmage and take all that information, compute it out, make calls all in a 20-second window.
You did it right there.
It's unmatched. And then so it seems like there's elements to LSU's offense that do have that Joe Brady feel, but it might be that Max Johnson doesn't have the processing power at this point to be able to do everything that they're asking him. Like,
they're slow the game down.
They're asking him to
him.
do too much, and you can see in his play he's not
Just play.
He's not playing on like instinct. He's playing on. He looks like a pitcher that's like that can't throw a strike.
Yeah,
it's just like he's not reacting.
Shaking
like
off everything.
Just wind and throw, dude. Like, go out there and deal. He's trying to do so much at once. It's getting into his football ability.
Oh, I mean, to be able to pick up who's blitzing, slide protection, change the route, like all in 20 seconds. Get the call in from it. That is a lot. Like, that's next level. Like, you get paid handsomely to do that.
They're asking him to be an NFL quarterback right now, and this will be his 5th start against Central Michigan. Never played in front of a crowd before. I think that this team will go, however, Max Johnson's ability to develop into this role as just basically an orchestrator, because he has to do so much so quickly, and I think he just needs kind of to drop it and just go play. Like, don't try to just identify the mic and let's get this thing going.
And just put your playmakers in space.
Yeah.
It's really all you need to do.
Get the guys
easier.
Yeah,
said than
obviously
done.
easier said than done.
How about DJ Chark? 3 catches for 86 yards and a touchdown. And the Jaguars lost from the Texans.
Shocking game of the weekend. The Texans played great.
PFT had a tweet. Can you name me 3 players on the Texans? All I had was Brandon Cooks and Phillip Lindsay.
And Tyrod Taylor.
Oh, yeah.
And Mark Ingram's there.
Somehow.
We can put together, we can name 4.
Okay, who's the Texans head coach?
I don't know. His name, but I saw him on TV
ball.
last
I know
night.
he got a ball.
Yes, I know that he is not the head coach that it was last year.
How about that was Trevor Lawrence's first loss, regular season loss. It's middle school?
Yes, he was in high school, in college, and now in the NFL. He had never lost anything that wasn't a playoff game. So he got bounced from the playoffs a couple times in high school, but that was the first time he's ever had a loss that wasn't in November or December. That's wild to me that he went. That's how good he's been, and that's what I guess
you get. Crush him?
Yeah, you get these stories of phenom quarterbacks that come out of high school. It's like the guy's never lost. Same thing with Kyler Murray. Like, he never lost a high school football game. I kind of just think about it. It's kind of like it's the rich kid who's had everything in life. You're just in this little bubble, and then when life pimp slaps you, like, you're in the real world now, kid.
Like, you play for the Jaguars now, bro. Like, those days are over.
Life comes at you fast. You got Urban over there choking down at Papa John's Pizza. He looks nervous as hell. People are screaming for Urban to come to LSU.
He can't come to LSU. His heart will explode.
Yeah. They want the Nick Saban pivot, where you realize you can't do it in the NFL. I spy a very lucrative and full of potential job. Urban Meyer could just drop back down.
Do you know how high his cholesterol would be? Do you know how unhealthy our food is and how much alcohol there is?
He signed that contract with his kids. What
and
are you
how
talking
cheap
about?
cigarettes.
Yeah, take care of himself.
So
he framed it, put it in his office like he's a lawyer.
The blood oath. Jamar Chase, 5 catches for 101 yards and a touchdown. The deep bomb.
Did you see his necklace? It just says it's the number 1. It just says chosen one. He's got the LeBron James back tattoo, but on a necklace. I think he'll be fine. He's got plenty of confidence.
I know. I mean, He did look awful in the preseason. And then,
yeah.
how about Joe getting his boy? Thought he was dropping everything.
Yeah.
You can definitely tell in the pre-draft process, Joe Burrow was like, no, this is probably one of the best wide receivers I've ever played.
I mean, you saw
draft him. This is my team. Like, all right, Joe.
That video that they put together of the Clemson game and that touchdown, it was a mirror image of each other. Just like
Go.
however many days apart, but it was the exact same thing. And he's like, this is why we brought you here. Go do that. Go win one-on-ones.
It's that levels concept.
Yeah.
I mean, he takes the top off a defense.
They couldn't, if they're not going to rotate safeties, anytime Joe Burrow sees him in one-on-one, he's going to throw it. He's going to throw a go ball to him. Every time he sees it.
Fantasy.
I
Should have
had
drafted
him
him.
on the old bench.
Oh, you benched him? How many? He got you 20, right?
Yeah.
Who did you play over him?
Oh, Chris Godwin. So
You
I was
23.
okay. Yeah, we're
So
good.
you played
It's just
over- no,
nice
you're
to
good.
have.
You're good. You're good.
Nice to have.
See, I pooped a scooch. I started Callaway at the flex.
He didn't play bad.
2 points.
Oh, I thought I saw him catch you.
No, you only had one. It was the catch early.
And that's what it was.
Yeah.
And then a go ball that they missed. So yeah.
You high on him? Should I? What do I do with him?
Callaway?
Yeah.
I would put Jamar in now.
I don't have Jamar.
Oh.
Should I trade for Jamar?
Callaway for Jamar, little trade. Do it now. You should have done it before the season.
I know. All my friends are Saints fans. Are come on.
Yeah.
Sell. Damn. I don't know when to sell. Clyde Edwards-Helaire, 43 rushing yards on 29 receiving yards. Playoff Lenny, 32 yards, and then 5 receptions for 27 yards. Christian Fulton had 3 tackles. Honestly, I think the best performance of the week, people forget, Dante Jackson, 4 tackles and a pass deflection.
I saw him, and I saw him break up a pass, and it was in the end zone, too.
Jalen Mills had an unreal pass deflection in the end zone.
Number 2, he's on the Patriots now.
Yeah, he got paid.
Yeah. But always high on seeing the LSU players out there. It's always great. That's basically what I do. Like when you talk about watching the Red Zone channel, you see LSU athletes everywhere. Like I made a point to watch the Bengals game though, even though like Red Zone was spinning at 1 p.m. and the witching hour
Saints
was
won
happening.
and then Bengals are 1A, or is it?
I think so. I'm just so invested in Joey Burrow's like career and life now at this point that I want to see him do well.
Stan,
and I love
are you
watching
Stan
him.
yet?
Yeah, I think so. I love watching him play. And now that they have Jamar, I mean, I should be a Browns fan, but none of those guys are out there.
OBJ
Odell didn't
didn't
play. I didn't see Greedy. I didn't see Grant. Delpit.
What's Delpit's injury?
I don't know. I just didn't see. I know he was out all of last year. I think it was a knee, ankle, something.
Ankle. He fucked up his ankle at
Yeah.
LSU pretty bad. I mean, my last comment before we head off, before I got to do some school. Jordy was talking about the Red Zone guy. He said by the first game I'd be jacking off. I was
Yeah,
like,
I think he meant like take his jacket off. And
What?
Jordan, you should host. You should host one then. That's not what the Red Zone is.
oh my God, how great. Was it the Octobox?
The Octobox. Just 8 games at once. I can't. I need more.
I feel dirty. It's just too much dopamine.
I need
it's like,
more-
I don't deserve this.
I need more eyeballs. Like I can't watch fast enough. I'm just like scanning. It makes you want to gamble every game. It should be illegal.
Why does college football not have
I don't know.
a better...
It must be something to do with like the rights. Like the NFL owns all
yeah.
of the content. So I would imagine that, like I
Let's
guess
get
the
the ball
NCAA
rolling.
could get something like that
2025.
together.
What are we doing?
yeah.
This is in 2006, guys.
Because college football makes you like drag 6 TVs into your living room. The NFL just says we'll put 6 TVs inside 1 TV.
All you need is a catheter and food.
Exactly. And an IV, and you're good to go. That man has to be exhausted today. What a rush.
His voice.
He's done.
He's hitting every note, chorus tight.
Jacking off.
Jacking off.
All right, boys. We'll be back tomorrow, 7 to 9 with Jordy. I don't know
Sting
who.
Senor?
I don't know if Sting's. We pushed Sting back from today to probably someday this week because we didn't want to have to do a truncated interview. So we have Ross Dellenger. I'll cut it up, put it on YouTube.
Ross was an Iron Chef this morning.
He was. Chef Mike was beeping.
Yeah.
And then I'll put out the podcast also. R&B Builders, everything. Go Chevrolet.
And I'll be cutting
You know
from
the
Sunday,
deal.
Saturday. Appreciate y'all. Y'all have a great day.